Chapter 32. A Family Sandwich. When he finally arrived home, Ben noticed a little brown car was missing from the drive. It was still very early in the morning. Where could his parents have gone at this hour? Nevertheless, he climbed up the drain pipe, through the window, and back into his bedroom. All that clambering was hard work. He was tired after staying up all night, and the wetsuit made him heavier than usual. Ben moved his Plumbing Weekly aside so he could hide the wetsuit under his bed. Then, as quietly as he could, he put on his pajamas and climbed into bed. Just as he was about to shut his eyes, he heard the car speed up the drive and the front door open, and then the sound of his mum and dad sobbing uncontrollably. "We've looked everywhere for him," said Dad, sniffing. "I don't know what to do." "It was my own stupid fault," added Mum through her tears. "We should never have entered him for that dance competition. He must have run away from home. I'll call the police." Yes, we must. We should have done that hours ago. Have to get the whole country out looking for him. Hello. I need the police, please. It's my son. I can't find my son." Ben felt so wretchedly guilty. His parents did care about him, after all, massively. He leapt out of bed, burst open his bedroom door, and ran down the stairs into their arms. Dad dropped the telephone. "Oh, my boy," said Dad. He hugged Ben tighter than he had ever hugged him before. Mum put her arms round her son too, until they were one big family sandwich, with Ben as the filling. "Oh, Ben, thank goodness you came back," wailed Mum. "Where have you been?" "With Granny," replied Ben, not quite telling the whole truth. She's very ill," he said sadly. But he could see from his parents' face that it wasn't a surprise to them. "Yes," said his dad uncomfortably. "I'm afraid that she's—" "I know," said Ben. "I just can't believe you didn't tell me. She's my Granny." "I know," said Dad. "And she's my mum too. I'm sorry I didn't tell you, son. I didn't want to upset you." Suddenly, Ben could see the pain in his dad's eyes. "That's okay, Dad," he said. "Me and your mum have been up all night looking everywhere for you," added Dad, as he squeezed his son even tighter. "We never would have thought to look for you at your granny's. You always said she was boring." "Well, she's not. She's the best granny in the world." Dad smiled. "That's sweet, son, but you could still have told us where you were." "I'm sorry. After I let you down so badly at the dancing competition, I didn't think you cared about me." "Care about you?" said Dad, a shocked expression on his face. "We love you." "We love you so much, Ben," added Mum. "You must never think differently. Who cares about a silly dancing competition hosted by TV's Flavio Flavioli? I'm so proud of you, whatever you do." "We both are," said Dad. They were all crying and smiling now. Hard to know if the tears were happy or sad ones. It didn't really matter. They were probably a mixture of both. "Shall we go to Granny's for a cup of tea?" said Mum. "Yes," said Ben. "That would be nice." "Yeah, and me and your dad have been talking," said Mum, taking her son's hands in hers. "I found the plumbing magazines." "But," said Ben. "It's all right," continued Mum. "You don't have to be embarrassed. If that's your dream, go for it." "Really?" said Ben. "Yes," chimed in Dad. "We just want you to be happy." "Only," continued Mum, "me and your dad think if the plumbing doesn't work out as a career, it's very important you have something to fall back on." "Fall back on?" asked Ben. He really didn't understand his parents at the best of times, let alone now. "Yes," said Dad, "and we know ballroom dancing isn't your thing." "No," agreed Ben, relieved. "So how do you feel about ice dancing?" asked Mum. Ben stared at her. For a long moment, Mum just looked straight back at him. Then finally her face cracked and she burst out laughing. And then Dad was laughing too. And even though there were tears still on his face, Ben couldn't help joining in.